But the Ten Commandments do not. The Ten Commandments begin that you should know, thank you, Batya, you should know that I am the Lord your God who took you out of the land of Egypt. That's his claim to fame. Not that he creates the heaven and the earth every second, but he took us out of the land of Egypt. Why? It's a famous question. It's asked over and over again. Batya, something's happening here. It's all yellow.
Oh, it's okay. It's just the camera is a little bit broken. It's gonna work though. Yeah, it still works. It's gonna.
All right.
It doesn't look yellow on whoever's watching it. Yeah. Just on our side.
Because how did the world come into existence? How did Hashem create the world? Did he have a creator set? He put the pieces together. How did he create the world? He created the world by speaking. He said, let there be light, and there was light. He said, let there be a division in the waters, and there was a division in the waters. He said, let there be, let the waters recede, and the land should appear, and trees and growing things with bearing seeds to create more growing things after their kind. Let there be luminaries, sources of light in the heavens, sun and the moon and the stars. Let there be birds and fish and insects. Let there be animals. That was Friday. Let there be animals. Hashem spoke, brought everything into being with speaking. When he said, let there be birds, some people say that's how the angels were created. But if everything was speech. And we did the exercise yesterday or 2 days ago of taking a deep breath and breathing out very easily, right? The letter Hey. That's all the effort it took for Hashem to create the whole universe. Nothing. But mankind was created, we learned in the chapter 2 of the Tanya. Man was created by blowing. Everybody take a deep breath. Don't face your neighbor. Face away from your neighbor. Cover your mouth. And blow. Feel where you didn't blow. Come on. You didn't blow. You're just breathing out. You're faking it. Come on, let's do it. Everybody take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. Cover your mouth so you don't blow on anybody. No germs. Take a deep breath. 1, 2, 3. Blow. You feel how it's an effort. You're doing something. It's not like so the whole world is created with a sigh, with a hey, but the neshama is blown into us, which shows that it comes from deep within the essence of God. The godly soul comes from deep within the essence of God. That's how it all starts. Now, Hashem makes a covenant with our ancestor Abraham and ratifies it with his son Yitzchak, and again makes the contract a third time with Yaakov and their children forever, and we are their children. So we're in it. And he took us down to Egypt, and we were enslaved in Egypt. First it was good, but then we were enslaved, and we suffered. And then Hashem took us out of there. It was impossible for anybody to get out of Egypt. You couldn't get out. It was tight. It was like, Ledugma, for example, like before 1990, nobody could get out of Russia. You couldn't get out. To get a visa to get out of Russia, you need a miracle. Or you needed the Rebbe. Couldn't get out of Egypt. And here, not just a person came out, a whole nation of millions of people all came out at once. That had never happened before and never happened afterwards. that a nation was born out of another nation, like a child is born from his mother. A nation, the Jewish nation was born like a child coming out of a womb. And with great miracles, it happened. There were 10 plagues for the 10 powers of the soul. But the 10th plague, each plague lasted a week. Like the water turned to blood for a week. And there were frogs everywhere for a week, right? And then there was lice all over everybody's body for a week, until Pharaoh begged Moshe, take it away, take it away. But the plague of the killing of the firstborn didn't last a week. It didn't last a day. It didn't last a minute. It was a split second. It wasn't even time. It was a moment, but it wasn't in time. We said yesterday, when is midnight? When is midnight? Sharon, when is midnight? Is it before midnight or after midnight? When is it? It's not in time. It's nothing. So Hashem revealed himself in the world in a way that's not in the world. It's not in time. Similarly, he sent Moshe to take the Jews out of Egypt in a similar way by revealing himself. The first time Hashem revealed himself to Moshe was famous incident of the what? Moshe was a shepherd. He took his sheep to the end of the wilderness. One sheep ran away, he chased it to Mount Sinai. On Mount Sinai, he saw something extraordinary. What did he see? What? What?
The bush, burning bush.
President Bush. The burning bush. And what was unusual about a bush burning? Bushes burn. We have in California every year. We have fires. What? It didn't burn. It was burning and it wasn't burning. Again, the same thing. It was in time and not in time. Here it was burning. The bush was burning and the bush was not burning. Like the miracle of Hanukkah. The oil lasted 8 days. It burned, but it didn't burn. So Hashem was revealing himself in this way, and similarly at the crossing of the Red Sea. The wind had to keep blowing the sea apart every single second. If it stopped for a second, what happens? The sea returns. Everybody drowns. The Jewish people went through the sea split. They went through on dry land. The Egyptians chased them into the sea, and the sea came back on them at the same time. So at the same time as the Jews crossed on dry land, the Egyptians drowned. Same sea, same time sequence. Only it was a different time sequence for the Jews than for the Egyptians. In other words, Hashem was revealing himself to the Jewish people in the world, the natural world, but in a manner that's not held, not limited by the natural world. Now, the word Egypt means limitation. The word Egypt, Mitzrayim, comes from the root Meitzar. Meitzar means a limit, like a border. Like Brazil goes to this particular point, what's the Iguaçu, what's it called? Iguaçu Falls, the big waterfalls. It's the border. Yeah, it's the border of Brazil. Argentina. Magnificent, most magnificent waterfall, one of the wonders of the world. Okay, but it's a border. Argentina doesn't go into Brazil, and Brazil doesn't go into Argentina. It's a border, Meitzar. The word Mitzrayim means a border, a limitation. Hashem took us out of Egypt, took us out of all limitations of the world. So he showed himself to us as he creates the world, and he's not limited by the world. That was what he gave to us. So the creation of the world was just by speaking. But the taking us out of Egypt was from the highest essence of godliness that creates nature, and it's not part of nature at the same time. So that we have a level of God we learned in chapter 3 of the Tanya. This is a review. Chapter 3, we learned level number 1 of God is God fills everything in the world with life. The earth, which can produce infinite amounts of food. The trees, the flowers, the birds, the animals, the stars and the heavens, the mountains, the rivers, the lakes. He creates everything is full of life. Take a knife and carve your name into a tree. An Indian, a North American Indian will be very angry because you're hurting the life in the tree. They're sensitive to it. They're more natural in their sensitivities. So that's the way God fills the world with life. But then there's a level of God that's higher than the world. Like your cell phone. This room has walls. That's the limitations of the room. Your cell phone doesn't see any walls. X-rays don't see the flesh. They only see the bones. And there are higher frequency things that don't see any limitations at all. And that's an example of how Hashem is higher than the world. Not entirely, because we can only see this in the world. I hope that works. So we have the way Hashem fills the world with life, and we have a higher level that Hashem isn't contained in the world. He's higher than the world. And then we have an even higher level than that, which is beyond even the concept of world. And that's, when we get there, then we're talking about the essence. So we're going to thank the essence of God right now for this cup of coffee by saying a blessing. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, shahak ol ni'abit varei. Which means in the common language that we speak in America, blessed are you, God, our God. You are King of the world. You are the source of all of life. And you are creating this coffee with your speech. There was a question from Sola. You had a question. Sola Setlin. Sola, you had a question. I saw your hand going up.
Yeah. Do you remember my first class that you
were sitting there at the back.
That you explained that there's 4 levels of existence.
What?
4 levels of existence.
Of existence, yes.
Yeah, like
4 worlds.
Yeah, and like the ways you can call God, like Hashem. Like for example, Hashem, Adonai.
What? Hashem what?
Like Hashem, like the different names of Hashem, Elohim, no?
Yeah.
What is?
And
we spoke about the 4 letters of Hashem's name.
Yeah.
That so there are a lot of 4s in the Torah, like there are 4 elements.
Okay.
Consider, what are you made out of? Mainly, the main thing in you is fire. You are almost 100 degrees hot. That's considered normal. 98.6 degrees is normal. A little higher is called fever. A little lower is called a chill. You got a cold. You ever think about that? You have a cold. How do you say that in Spanish?
Frío. Tener frío.
That means you're sick, right?
No, it doesn't feel like fever.
No, it's the opposite of fever.
Oh.
Fever is hot.
Fever is fiebre, yeah.
Fiebre.
Fiery is cold.
Fiebre, yeah.
So that's the element of fire that's in you. Then you got water, just like the world. You're a small world. The world is 75% water. So are you. That's why everybody here is drinking. We have to constantly be replenishing our water so that we don't get dehydrated. The word for water is hydra. Dehydrated means you don't have any water in you. The plants, you don't water the plants, they get dehydrated.
And each name is for every level that you work.
And then we have air, the other thing you need all the time. 12 times a minute, you have to breathe air. In Turkey, they're finding people under the buildings who had some little pocket of air that they were able to survive a few days. Because they had air. You have to have air. And then the rest of you is earth. The flesh is earth. So these four elements are in everything, and they also derive from the four letters of the name of God. So we have four worlds, four letters. And so on. I don't know what your question was, but I hope I answered it. This is Malka. Thank you, Malka. We're so happy to see you. Chaya Atkins is here. Yes. And Shoshana Hosset is here. Okay?
Sorry, I'm sorry if I keep coming late this week.
Next week will be better.
Yeah.
I know. You're a good girl. We love you. You're a good girl. You're a wonderful student.
Yeah.
Okay, so therefore, we have four levels also, Soleh.
Yeah.
Just like we have four worlds of holiness, we have four levels of not holiness.
Yeah.
That's called klippa. Klippa, like the shell of a banana.
Yeah.
You're not going to eat the banana peel. You have a peanut. Do you have peanuts in Argentina?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, we're not too. Yeah, we do.
A peanut has two shells. It has an inner shell which you could eat or throw away. And it has an outer shell which you can't eat. It's wood. So similarly in klippas, we have klippas that we can deal with, and we have klippas that we cannot deal with. We can't. It's not possible.
The other day you said eating and drinking.
Yeah.
And I missed 3 other.
And right. Eating, drinking, and just doing things. Taking a walk. Playing golf. Going swimming. Rivkaram.
Doing things, that's negative things, or no?
Making clothes. Doing the laundry.
It's neutral.
Neutral. All the neutral things, you're permissible.
Okay.
But, if you do the laundry in order to have a nice dress for Shabbos, then it becomes a holy thing. So then the life goes up. The fourth level, the neutral level is called klippas noga. Noga means it shines. Because from this klippa, you could get holiness. Holiness can come from this klippa. Like non-Jewish people who saved Jewish lives during the Holocaust. There were certain non-Jews they were killed themselves, and others weren't killed, but they risked their life to help Jews. They are called righteous because their soul, they get a soul which comes from klippas noga. So it can go and be part of the holiness, and they can get the world to come if they choose to behave like that. But there are others that didn't, I know people who returned to Poland after the war, and they went back to their own homes, and they found Polish people living in their homes. I saw this interview. They have the Yad Vashem is doing a lot of interviews. They want to get it down. They want to get these testimonials down while people are still alive. They went home. This family spoke about how they went home. They were the only ones left. Their parents, their brothers and sisters were all killed. They went back to their home. There were Goyim living in their home. And they knocked on the door. They wouldn't let them in. He said, "You're living in my home. This is not your home. Why did you come back? They took you away to kill you. Why did you come back?" And they did. They killed them. There were mass killings in Poland after the war. Few thousand people got killed after the war in riots. Yeah. So if people choose to behave like that, their life is coming from 3 impure klippas, not klippas noiga. And the people, on the other hand, I read a story about a nun. You know what a nun is? How do you say that in Spanish? Like from the church. Women in the church. They're married to the church. They're not married to, they don't marry men. She saved like 86 children. She hid them. She hid them. She asked her bishop if she's doing the right thing or not. If he'd say no, she would have given them away to the Germans. But he said, no, we have to help them. Sometimes, sometimes it happens. But it's not very common. When the Rebbe was in the hospital, after the Rebbe had a stroke, he was in the hospital. So there was a Black woman who was a nurse, and she was working in the hospital, Beth Israel Hospital in Manhattan, and she went to church. And the priest said we should say a prayer for the Grand Rabbi of Lubavitch, the Lubavitch Rabbi. And don't be surprised, he said, because he is the holiest person in the world today. So she was a nurse on the floor. She knew who the Rebbe was. She went over to him afterwards. She said, "Father, I was very surprised that you said that the rabbi is the holiest person in the world. I thought you always taught us, you always said that the Pope in Rome was the holiest person in the world." And he looked at her and he said, "The rabbi of Lubavitch is the holiest person in the world today." So there you are. You see, it's very unusual. She was surprised, but she knew it was true. So that shows that sometimes, you see, a non-Jewish person actually merits to have a soul from Klippas Noga, which is the area where all good, permissible things come from. That's where they get their life. Whereas crime and drugs and violence, that's all getting its people who plug into these activities get their life. Slander, cursing, bad talk, causing hatred, beating people up, stealing. Whenever a person does any of these things, he's plugging it, like you plugged in your charger there. So you're plugging in your charger, his basya, Yeah, welcome, Basya. Batya is here and Basya is here. You're plugging in to the three impure klippas, the three sources of evil. Now you can ask a question, why should Hashem create evil? Because that creates a challenge. If there's no challenge, no pain, no gain, right? No pain, no gain. If there wasn't gravity, you'd never feel any weight, couldn't lift any weights, never get strong. You'd be flabby. You'd be like a mollusk. You'd be like a jellyfish. Okay, so page 115, from this minute amount of good that's in Klippas Noiga come all the good things that we do, and that's where our animal soul comes from, our human soul, not our godly soul. Our godly soul, our neshama is part of God. But our human soul, our animal soul, comes from Klippas Noga. And since there's goodness in Klippas Noga, therefore, it's natural for every single Jewish person to be kind, generous, merciful, modest, respectful. That's our nature. That's the way we're made. We're just made like that. It's not a big achievement. We don't have to work hard on ourselves to get there. Leah is here. Yair is not on. Ilanit is not here. Hani Weiss didn't make it this morning. Sharon is here. Sharon Sontag. Okay. See, it took a while. I got to know all of you. Next, we learned, therefore, that when we eat and drink, since there is this bit of holiness in Klippas Noga, that gives us energy. And we have the example given here that the great Rabbi Rava was able to understand law better after he ate a steak. On an empty stomach, it was hard for him. It was harder for him to see clearly what was the right answer. And similarly, on Yontif, everything we eat, you see, that's because he's using the energy from the steak to distinguish between right and wrong. On Shabbos and Yontif, everything is revealed. So it's more automatic. Page 118 now. On the other hand, if a person, now we did do this, if a person eats like an animal without saying a bracha, he eats more than he needs. You know, the Hasidim, I even hear reports from Hasidim who lived in Europe, and Hasidim came to their house and the children saw, like they never took seconds. They never took seconds. They never finished their plate. They always left a little bit over. So sort of, I know, I'll just finish off with this one story. I know a person who, he told me this himself. It's a first person story. It's not a story with a beard. Sometimes stories grow a beard. This guy told me this, that he had Yechidus with the Rebbe. He told me, I remember when he told me, and it was on the 5th day of the month of Av, the yard site of the Arizal. We were going on a bus. The Rebbe said we should go on a bus to say prayers by the Arizal. So we were, Rabbi Yitzchak Luria. So we were going, and he was American. He had moved to Israel, he made Aliyah. He was a dental assistant. He was the guy in the back room who does the jobs for the dentist. And he was setting up a studio in Kfar Chabad. And he sat beside me. He told me he had Yechidus with the Rebbe on his birthday, and he told the Rebbe that he was fasting. He used to like to fast on Monday and Thursday, like holy people used to do. He wouldn't eat. And the Rebbe got very upset with him. He was shocked. He wished he'd never told the Rebbe. He says, don't you know that it's forbidden? You're not allowed to fast except when the community fasts. Like the day before Purim, we fast. But you don't fast on your own. And the Talmud gives 2 reasons for it. Because number one, it's going to make you unhappy and you're not going to behave nicely with people. And number 2, you're not going to learn well. So since you're not learning well, you become your own enemy. And you're causing a Jew, which is yourself, not to learn Torah. So you're not allowed to do this. So that was very upset because the Rebbe was giving him a bawling out. The Rebbe was criticizing him. So then the Rebbe said, but if you want to continue in this approach so that you should become a master of yourself and not your appetites should make you you'll do everything according to your appetite because you're hungry or because you're thirsty. No, you do things in order to serve Hashem. So if you want to gain this mastery over yourself, I would advise you the following, says the Rebbe. Listen carefully, girls. I would advise you when you eat to choose one item on your plate that you really like. Like let's say you have meat and potatoes and vegetables, and you choose the thing that you like the most. If it's the meat or the potatoes or the vegetable salad, whatever you like the most, choose the thing you like the most and leave over 1 spoonful. Just don't lick your plate clean so that you have all the energy you need for your daily activities. But just when your appetites were really going, you held yourself back. That's what the Rebbe said to him. He turned to me, he said, you know what? It's easier to fast a whole day than to leave over 1 spoonful at the end of when you're finished. Have a wonderful Shabbos.
Thank you.